Luno, the fastest, easiest way to buy Bitcoin. If you're just getting into crypto, it's the perfect place to start. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Heilpern show. Today we're talking how to spot the next 100x with a very good friend of mine. But before we jump in, this is powered by Icon Plus Capital. They're a VC firm, and it is sponsored by BlockFi. So BlockFi are actually offering, I think, the most competitive interest rates actually right now, around 9%, maybe even 9.5% on your stablecoins. So I've left a link in the description and in the body of the tweet. So hit that. You also get $250 when you sign up. So definitely check that out. So we're going to be talking about how to spot the next 100x with a very good friend of mine. So don't go anywhere. Let's bring him in. It is the CEO of AltcoinBuzz, Shash Gupta. Shash, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Layah?
I'm good. I'm so excited to speak with you. For those that don't know, I feel like we need to explain the relationship here. So Shash isn't just another person in crypto. Shash is the person that really just made me stay in the crypto space. So I was working in crypto and then I left in, I think, 2019. And then Shash reached out to me and he basically dragged me back in and I haven't left since. Isn't that right?
Yeah, probably one of the best things for the space as well, right? Like I always find it, I always find it like something I need to do is like not let people leave crypto. So that is something I find, and something. And you were so talented before when you were doing everything in terms of journalism and all. So I found it a little strange that you were planning to leave. So when I spoke with you, I was like, no, you cannot leave. Let's do something. And yeah, having you in crypto is awesome. Now you've written a book. You've like what 250 million subscribers on Twitter, and it's gonna
Something.
be.
So Shash to me is like kind of just like the godfather of crypto. He knows everything. He's taught me so much, and so I really just want to. Yes, don't shake your head. So I just want to make sure we get all of that knowledge out and just get it out, okay? Because this guy knows unbelievable amounts of stuff, basically, just a lot of stuff. So
That's so
before
much
we,
pressure.
no, it's not
That's,
pressure. It's not pressure. No pressure. Shash knows good stuff. So we're going to get out of him today and we're going to find out how to basically spot the best trends, understand how to navigate the crypto space, DeFi, NFTs, gaming, everything, because Shash knows it. I promise you. So let's do it. Before we go into this,
oh my
Shash, tell
god.
us about your background.
For me, like I used to practice law in India, and then I was like, I want to understand more towards the business side of things. So I moved to Singapore, started like working with the company, and then started a little startup back in 2014. Wasn't the best of ideas. Then tried to find a new industry which was interesting, and had sort of money in it, and was like a new industry. So I looked at 3D printing, AR, VR, AI, all that jazz. And then my sort of ears and eyes fell upon cryptocurrency in 2016. I was like, this is fascinating, but not coming from a finance or technology background. I kind of knew that it's crypto, which is tech, and then currency, which is like finance. And I knew I kind of had to work twice as hard as anybody else to even understand what was going on. So from 2016 to 2017, I was literally like a anthropologist in the space, just trying to understand how people think about the space, what is being built, where is the future of the industry, what's really happening here. And that probably was the best thing I did in terms of getting aware of everything from a macro perspective. And then in 2017, when I decided to really start figuring out how to survive off it, because I was living off my wife at that point of time. um, I was like, okay, let's figure out what to do. And I thought I could do investing, but I really didn't have any finances at that point of time. I could do trading, but trading seemed like something which is too much work for very little result. Like it's not something which is for me. Then you could work for an organization, but after spending a year in the space, I did realize that you don't want a macro perspective. Like you want a macro perspective. You don't want to sort of be a bit tunnel vision. And organizations themselves were, people who were trying to experiment with stuff. Funding was easy because it's like a fringe space, so you can get money from crazy people for doing crazy things, and that's what's happening right now, even till date. But that was another thing. So what I decided is like, okay, like I spoke to a bunch of friends. I spoke to a friend, and we started this YouTube channel together called AltcoinBuzz. just like a simple way to tell people what's happening in the space as we understood it. And then I've been running that since 2017. We have about, we just crossed the 100,000 subscribers on the channel, which is like a super cool thing. I don't know why so many people are watching that, but I love what I do. It's been amazing. The journey has been excellent. I've learned so much. I've met so many amazing people. Money has been decent, especially this year. It's been pretty awesome, to tell you the truth. So, all in all, like that's like a pretty extended brief on who I am. Yeah.
Well, major congrats on passing that YouTube milestone. So that's for guys, if you missed it, that's AltcoinBuzz. So check their YouTube out. They always spot the top trends. And I need to tell a story. So Shash told me over a year ago to get into several different coins, and I didn't. I don't know why. I just didn't. And obviously, I, I don't know what,
I
I
can
can't even
name
think of the
them. I
maths.
can
Go
name
on,
those
name it.
coins.
Okay, go on, name it.
Okay, I told you to get like into Engine at like 4 cents, which is like
Yeah,
$3.60 right now. I told you to get
that's one.
into Quant Network
Yeah,
at less than $5, like $4.50. That's at
correct.
like $288 or
I
something
think it was
like that.
actually 3.5. I think it was like
Yeah, yeah.
$3.5 at the time. Yeah,
And then I told you to get into Ren Protocol, which was like
you
under
did.
10 cents. I told you to get into Chainlink. I told you to get into Matic.
One. Wait, we need to talk about one quickly.
Harmony. Yes, Harmony.
Harmony. You told
Yeah,
me to get into Harmony. It was like dirt cheap. I had
yeah.
literally £15 in like a spare wallet. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll throw it into one, okay?" It is now worth £700. Why didn't I put more in, Shash?
I don't know. I don't know. That's on you. But here's the thing, right? What here's the thing, right? Like it takes a while. It really takes a
Yeah,
while to
100%.
start seeing this, and it's fine. Like I've been like you, I've been totally opposite of you, and both are complicated. Like if you don't take the risk, you're in trouble, and if you take too much risk, you're in trouble, right? Like for example, we will get into the meme coin side of things and what I really feel about it as well.
Yeah,
But like the best thing is to sort of manage your risks pretty carefully. But that said, like the other coins that I did tell you to sort of get into, like chilies, I was so bullish when it was like well under a cent. The thing's gone to like, it went to like 88 cents. Like that was just insane. And yeah, it sort of paid off sort of throughout the bear market, like from 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And then March 2020 was like horrendous time. Like the entire market crashed, because of the whole stock market and oil market crashing, and it was really bad. And I think around that time is when I decided to double down on my efforts with Buzz as well. And I was like, okay, it's now or never. I go all in and like give it my best shot. And probably the best decision. Asked you to join the team as well. I asked everybody in the team to sort of get their act together, because I could sense it. Where everybody was sensing doom, I kind of felt that that's going to be the bottom. Of course
literally,
it
it
was
did.
really scary, right? And it was tough also because at that point of time to sort of run altcoin buzz, it was we barely had any revenue at that point of time. So what I had done is a little bit bitcoin that we'd saved, I'd actually, instead of selling it because I was so bullish on bitcoin, I'd taken a loan on bitcoin, I'd taken a leverage position,
Hey,
and
nice.
all my bitcoin got liquidated, right? Like that was the worst moment ever. Like I lost
Oh
every,
no.
yeah, it was pretty
Who
bad.
did you go through? Wait, oh my God. Wait, what? What? I had no idea.
Yeah, it happened. It was pretty bad. Like I was
Oh
pretty
man.
shaken up for a bit, and then kind of got my head together, and I was like, well, let's start all over again. And then I started all over again. Yeah, it was tough but worth it.
Yeah, totally worth it because all your calls have been essentially, from what I know, spot on. But I want to understand how you spot these calls, basically. I remember you
Yeah.
explaining quant to me a while ago, and you were like, "Yeah, it's like the middle chain." And then at the time, I was just like, "Yeah, I have no idea what you're saying," but I was like trying to keep up. But now, tell me, how do you spot these trends? Like, how did you spot Harmony?
All right. So at that point of time when I got into Harmony was at a time when Ethereum 2 was being conceptualized, and
Okay.
guys at Harmony had already done the whole sharding bit and created sort of what Ethereum 2.0 was going to be. And it was pretty clear to see that the way, even in a down market where a few people were using DeFi, Ethereum was having a bit of a hard time to survive. Now, people love the decentralization of Ethereum, but if you can have something which is less decentralized now but works, but the fees is much, much cheaper, you'll be able to have much more movement on it. And that's why sort of looking at layer ones that were more efficient and layer twos like Matic, etc., that are going to make things better made complete sense. And because ETH was going to do well, and here's the thing, right? Like my belief in ETH was so much that kind of knew that everything around it and everything that was trying to kind of compete with it, improvise on it, is going to do really well. So I was actually pretty bullish on Cosmos as well. Cosmos didn't perform as well as I thought because EVMs, which is Ethereum virtual machines, they took over the entire space in terms of the development. So like BSC came out with its EVM, and Binance chain was actually based on Cosmos Tendermint SDK, right? But they realized that it's very hard to survive on the DEX that they had made, which was called Binance DEX, and that was called Binance Chain at that point of time. They instantly kind of went to Binance Smart Chain, which is a different chain altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I realized that the EVMs and those Ethereum based ones will start performing better. So it was easy to see why something like a Matic, a Harmony, a BSC, etc., will start performing fairly well. Simultaneously, when these started doing well, other chains that had somebody backing them, like for example, BSC is backed by Binance.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is Solana, which is sort of backed by FTX, right? And FTX is another beast out there, right? So if they're going to support a chain, it's going to do really well. So it was pretty easy to see from that perspective. But the question you're asking, like, how do you identify from
Yeah.
starting up, right? And one of the best ways is figure out what you use in the first place. So the first thing is things that work. So there are two types of investments: current projects and then future speculations, right? So when you look at current projects, it's like I have already built something. So if you are going to use it and you like using it, then simply because you should consider yourself as an average user at that point
Yeah.
at that point when you're testing it out, and then when you kind of play with it and you like it. For example, that's what happened with me at Binance in 2017, right? I ended up buying Binance coin for 40 cents simply because it was something I wanted to use. They had about 200,000 users. I remember it was October of 2017, and it was just launched like a few months back. It was gaining traction, and they were listing all the hot coins at that point of time that I wanted to trade, buy, etc. So I just got into Binance, and I loved the idea that you could get 75% discount on fees at that point
Yeah.
of time. You could get 75% discount. I was like, that's amazing. So I bought some BNB, and I realized I used to pay initially like sometimes between 5 to 8 BNB for a trade, right? Like it was just crazy because it was so cheap. And then like that became like a fairly decent investment for me, and I didn't even want to look at BNB as an investment, and eventually realized, okay, wow, if you use something using something, then others are going to use it. There will be far more speculation on it. Sort of that kind of got me into understanding the use cases for stuff like Chainlink. So interesting use cases for projects that are having a growing user base. It's an easy buy. For example, Uniswap is one of the easiest buys out there. Like when Uniswap token was launched, I was like, you can go all in, you will never sort of get into any issues because Uniswap is DeFi. Like 95% of DeFi is pretty much Uniswap right now. Pancake Swap is Uniswap, Sushi Swap is Uniswap, Quick Swap is Uniswap. All other AMMs are pretty much Uniswap, in my opinion. So, and Uniswap V3 is literally a game changer. People haven't realized how amazing the tech behind V3 is. Like V3 is far superior than V2. It's just so many things need to be built on it. V3 is essentially like Ethereum for trading and AMM. It just needs a lot more tools to be built on it to really change the scope of things. However, the big challenge that Uniswap is facing is that they stuck to Ethereum. And had Uniswap sort of looked at it from a broader perspective and started launching cross-chain solutions with Matic, with uh, BSC, with Solana, etc., etc.,
Yeah.
then Uniswap would be the king out there. Like literally, they would have been the entire DeFi space.
Can it do
But
that? Can it do that? Can it innovate?
So multi-chain is something that can be done. That means you can have your product run on many chains. Cross chains means that you can cross liquidity from one chain to the other, which may not be mandatory in the beginning, but eventually there will be tools that will exist that will allow for cross chain as well.
Hmm.
So having multi-chain and being like, okay, we are also building on Solana, we're building on Avalanche, we're building on Tezos, we're building on Hashgraph, we're building on BSC, whatever, right? Is would have been fabulous for Uniswap. They would have been unstoppable, in my opinion. And I think that's where sort of by Bitcoin maximalism or ETH maximalism or any chain maximalism sort of kind of narrows the focus of even project builders that should be able to sort of try and see, how they could attempt to do stuff. What I'm trying to say here is that what they did is not essentially wrong, but it was their choice that kind of allowed other projects to do a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what gave birth to stuff like sushi swap or pancake swap or quick swap, etc., and like hundreds of these swaps which are essentially uniswap in its nature. So anyways, the point I was saying was that if you use stuff and you like using it, you should have their coins because they're going to do well. If you use dai and you've taken a loan on maker, then maker is one of the best coins to buy as well. If you're using a launchpad, whether it's trust swap or ignition or DAO maker or engine starter, start buying like those tokens, because if they're going to launch good projects and you believe in the industry and you believe in the capacity, that's one way of looking at it. The other way is more speculatory, right, where
Hmm.
nothing is being built, but we are speculating on things which will happen into the future, right? So at that point of time we start looking at the founders themselves. Have they
Okay.
had experience in the past in successful projects? What have they built? Do they understand product building? Do they understand marketing? Do they understand community building? Do they understand communications? Do they understand regulations, compliance? All these things, right? So basically, three main heads come into force. One is product and technology, the second one is regulation and compliance, and the third one is marketing, communications, PR, and community building, right?
Hmm.
If you believe that the founders would be able to do that, then at that point when you're investing in a product which is not launched, you simply invest in the fact that the founders will be able to accomplish this. So that time
Right.
you're essentially investing in the abilities of the founders. So this is sort of like a very simple breakdown in my opinion. Yeah, if I could go on it, but I'll stop here.
No, it's really useful and really helpful. It's really interesting what you said about something that you actually use. So, because of you, I use the crypto.com card. And we were talking about this before we went live because Crow, their token or their coin is now up, I think, 31% in 24 hours, which is wild. So it's the same thing. Like I've actually decided to leave my money in Crow because I'm like, hey, I'm using this thing.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the experience. They have amazing partnerships, UFC, Formula One, Aston Martin, and all these other amazing sporting events. So yeah, you're totally right. But I'd love to get your thoughts on Solana because I just can't wrap my head around it. Some people say, it's the Ethereum killer. Some people say, well, it'll all coexist. But they switched the network on and off the other day. And that's kind of concerning. So that doesn't really scream decentralization to me. Like you said, it's backed by FTX. So talk me through Solana. Where do you stand on it?
So here is where the difference between becoming from a user to an investor kind of comes into play, right? Now, I use a lot of products, right? And if I see a product which has problems which are fixable, but they're good at some things, right? For example, if there is a tech issue, it's not like it cannot be fixed, right? Like tech issues can
Mm-hmm.
always be fixed, but if they just don't understand communication, they don't understand regulation, compliance, setting up the right infrastructure, building a community, then I have bigger concerns at that moment. The point I'm trying to make here is that the problem that Solana has in terms of tech, decentralization, etc., you can't look at it as an investment now. You need to see it, can these problems be fixed 5 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, right? We're not in the business of gambling. If you're gambling, then this conversation becomes redundant. If you want to get in today and come out tomorrow, then it's as good as getting into a meme coin, right? And kind of
Yeah.
that's how meme coin investing works. But what we're looking is, hey, am I safe with my money in this project, and will I make many folds keeping in it in the next 5 years? Can they fix these technological issues or whatever issues, right? So every project has many issues. The bigger it gets, the bigger the issues become, the more visible, the more transparent these issues become. So the question always comes is, do you believe that they can fix it? And as an investor, your job is not to speculate on the present. We are investing in the future, right? We are all futurists. That's the way we should be working in general, right? And because that is the case, if you use something now, it works fine. Here's the thing: you think using Ethereum is a good experience right now?
No.
No, man, like it's not. You think all these NFTs we've been buying, it's like minting fees is like hundreds and hundreds of dollars right now. It's incredibly crazy. But is that not bullish? Is that not a problem that can be fixed? Imagine, Leah, if everything was fine and Bitcoin transactions were free, it was completely decentralized, even more than what it is now. Where is the opportunities for people like you and me? The reason there is an opportunity for you and me is because things are messed up. You realize that. If
No,
everything
but
was
now I
fine,
do.
if it was hunky dory for everyone, where will we make the money from? Because they're not. And because we see it from a future perspective, is why we will succeed. And that's why keeping a long term macro vision is the best way to survive in the crypto space. Because every time I see a problem and I see people running away, is when I get to work and I realize and analyze, can this problem be fixed? Are the founders smart enough to work on it and fix it? If the answer is yes, take all my money. It's as simple as that. And I've done it so many times with like so much success that I can kind of count on this formula.
It's a very interesting perspective, and it's I think it's totally right, actually, because when I always say this, the fact that we are so early means there's so much opportunity, and if everything was sorted, then how can we innovate and how can we make money? It's true. But in terms of things like Polkadot, then, people are so bullish on it. And I understand the whole parachains. I understand the whole, like the octopus with all the different chains, and they're all interoperable, and so there's less congestion, and you can't just like set up anything like you can do on Ethereum. Anyone could just create a meme coin as an ERC20 token. Polkadot requires the auctions and everything going on. But you see, I find it difficult to understand. I understand what it does, but I find it difficult to understand how it's different from, Solana or something like that. And whether or not I should be bullish on it. I find that really hard to really distinguish those differences.
Sure. Like, I don't know what's the best analogy to give here. Like, I could kind of think of something like, you have McDonald's and then you have Gordon Ramsay, and then both of them can do fairly well, right? Uh, but that said, just taking Polkadot for an example, so there will be meme coins that will be possible on Polkadot. It's just that the meme
Okay.
coins won't be running on a parachain, right?
Parachain,
So
yeah.
what they've done is now they have gotten people to support the creme de la creme projects by having a crowd loan system, which could, in my opinion, cost somewhere between $50 million to $500 million in terms of crowd support in dot. And then these projects will in turn, the people who support these projects will in turn get, you know uh, tokens given to them, right? So one of the ones I am most bullish on is called Efinity. It's a project
Yeah.
by the Engine guys. I've always been such a big fan of Engine. I was pretty much, here's the thing: I first minted my first NFT back in April of 2018, and I knew exactly NFT is going to be one of the hottest things out there. And I was giving it free to our community, and people like, I don't want your stupid NFTs. Like, what is this NFT
Yes.
shit, right? But it is what it is. The experience was extremely good for me to at least understand how you can have these interesting tokens that can be you know made into art, music, etc., etc. So coming back to Polkadot, so Efinity is one of those chains which I think is going to be pretty cool if you stake your dot on it. And here's the thing: now the question is, don't look at it from whether Ethereum will be killed by Polkadot or Solana, whatever. It doesn't matter. What matters is, will Ethereum do well? Will Solana do well? Will Polkadot do well? And which one do
Okay.
you think will do well the most, right? So because there is no animosity between the two, because as an investor you can hold all three. So why would you bother about, like, here's the thing, people think ethereum's going to beat bitcoin. What the hell kind of a statement is that? Like, you have bitcoin and you have ethereum and you have solana. So it's like you're kind of invested in the whole industry in general. So, and it'll be fun to see, like, here's the thing, if you're invested in all, maybe your one child does better than the other child, but at the end of the day we're going nowhere, we're here to stay. So coming back to Polkadot side of things, and this is where Polkadot sort of, in my opinion, has shown pure genius, is every top project which is trying to build on Polkadot is getting their entire community to not stake their coin. They have gotten them to stake Polkadot dot
Uh,
tokens, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Which is ingenious, like, which is just really,
Why
really
would they
genius.
do that? Wouldn't they want them to
Because
stake their own coin?
no, because only when you stake dot you can get a parachain. It's just sheer genius.
Oh, I
It's
see.
And because of
Right.
that, sort of, Polkadot may not perform badly even in the worst of the bear market, because if their parachains do well and people start using them, the dot market's gonna go kaboom. Like, it's gonna do really, really well. Simply because right now it's like, I feel, I mean, actually, I had a very crazy bullish statement regarding Polkadot, but I'm not gonna say it on your show
No, tell
specifically.
us. Tell
Yeah,
us. What's it about?
maybe
Can you give us
later.
a clue?
No, no, it's something weird, right? Like, it's something stupid, very stupid to say. But I kind of felt that if any coin, like the way the dynamics of it were built, could beat Bitcoin, it could be Polkadot. And if it works out, right? Like, if the parachain system just works fine, people start using it, because you're not even comparing apples to oranges, right? Like, Bitcoin is digital gold, but at the current moment, what Ethereum and Ethereum competitors or friends, whatever you want to call them, have become is more akin to. So if Bitcoin is like digital gold, then these guys are like Amazon or Google's of the Web3 era, right?
Yes.
And you don't say that, hey, Google is going to beat gold, right? You don't care, right? That's a silly thing to say. uh, but sort of Bitcoin's legacy is unbeatable. That's never going to change. Like, Bitcoin's always going to be a king. But in terms of really what Polkadot is capable of doing, and if they launch a bunch of good parachains, it can do fantastically well. And I'm not, like, it's not really my biggest investment or anything. However, analyzing it is something that I felt the amount of power it can get. And this will depend on parachain launches. If they launch well and people start using them and they start getting traction, then I will be mega bullish on it. Right now, there are a bit of ifs. So that's why it is a percentage, because I'm buying on speculation. But eventually, when it becomes more reality, I'd be happy to invest more in it.
Okay, so just going back a sec, you mentioned that ages ago, well, not ages ago, a few years is like 10 years in crypto. You were giving out NFTs, and you're really good at spotting those trends. You were going crazy about DeFi before the DeFi summer blew up. I remember you were telling me about Compound and Aave, and I was just like, what is that? How do you know what's next? NFTs are the current thing. And I do think that will continue. I see a lot of value there. Even DeFi, I think that will continue. But how do you know what's next?
Well, it starts with the basic infrastructure level, right? So what can be done once it becomes a reality? The thing is, DeFi literally started with MakerDAO. The moment you could lock in your Ethereum on a smart contract and take a loan on it in a stable coin called DAI, right? That was the inception of decentralized finance. That actually started it. And
When did
that
that
was,
start? When was that launched?
I think MakerDAO started in 2018, if not
Oh,
before. I
okay.
think
Okay.
18, yeah, 18. And Aave was called ETHLand. In fact, I was a part of a demo when ETHLand did its demo in 2017. And I was like, this stuff is weird, man. This is not going to work. And then after following, see, here's the thing, right? In terms of time, I felt I felt like the DeFi movement had happened quite a bit by the time got bullish on it as well.
No
So
way. You were still
yeah, no
You were
way.
still so
Now in
early.
hindsight, it was the perfect time to get into
Yeah.
DeFi. And I'm glad I got into that time. But in terms of trends, by finding them early, it's still very early in a lot of trends. And the NFT subculture is nothing like the crypto subculture. Like
What do
NFT,
you mean?
the ball game is a different animal altogether. You cannot, I have to spend way more time in understanding and analyzing NFTs because it's nothing like the crypto space. The way the people are investing in it, the way people are thinking in it, the whole mentality behind it, it's a separate subculture than crypto, absolutely different. So the point I'm trying to make here is that I have so many interesting questions that I'm still trying to answer. And maybe for some people it's just easy answers, but stuff like the entire NFT action is on Ethereum.
Right.
Literally all of it. Barely anything on Solana, though Solana is the second hottest. Barely anything on Matic, even though Matic is easily accessible through OpenSea. OpenSea is the hottest NFT platform
Why? Why? Given it would be cheap, it's obviously cheaper, right, to do that.
because it doesn't matter. Because an NFT is valuable the more fees you pay on it, I guess. I'm just saying, I'm talking out of my
Okay.
butt right now. But
No, you're
the
not. Actually,
the
I'm
point
listening to
is
every word.
the point is that I'm still trying to figure out this question. Why is there no NFT action on BSC? And I'm
Yeah.
I'm bullish on a lot of interesting NFT projects on. And by NFT, I mean art NFTs, not
Yeah. Yeah.
game NFTs. Game NFTs is a different animal altogether. We'll get to that later on. But the art NFT side is just ETH, and it is such a fascinating subculture. The kind of things that are being built on it. Like I studied about 180 NFT art projects last 1 month. And the one that I loved the most was one called Eponym, and it's 3D art, right? Like it's how it works is when you could mint it, when their generation one was launched, you give it a word or phrase, and in within a minute it will design an artwork for you.
Oh
And
wow.
if you spend time looking at the art and the words you've given, you can't believe it's made by an AI. Like it literally blew my mind.
Wait. So you're saying I would just use this platform, put in some words. So say, I want to make like a political piece or something. I'd write like
Yes,
freedom, sovereignty,
yes,
personal responsibility, and then it would just create some kind of masterpiece.
yes,
I need to try this.
yes. No, you can't do it because there is
Oh,
a
I
time
can't.
when you can mint it. So it's smart. Like, so what they did is for their generation one, they had 10,000 pieces that people had to put in a word or a phrase or whatever to be able to mint these NFTs, right? And the artwork is really fascinating. It's really fascinating. Like I spent, some of them are just garbage because they didn't turn out right, whatever. In terms of design, they weren't aesthetically pleasing to me. I wouldn't call them garbage. They just weren't aesthetically
Interesting.
pleasing to me. But that said, some of the ones that really appealed to me and they told the story of the phrase written, it blew my mind as to how this is possible. And
Right.
now they're doing something called a generation two, right? And the beauty is generation two, you can write more parameters. What kind of a texture do you want? What kind of a background do you want? What colors do you want? There are a lot of things that you can specify in Gen 2. But hear this, to make one Gen 2, you have to burn two Gen 1s. Like you literally have to burn
Oh,
two of generation one NFTs to make a Gen 2. Now, this is so smart because the supply of Gen 1 reduces, but then there are three smart contracts that are taking place. One Gen 1 being burnt, second Gen 1 being burnt, and the third Gen 2 being minted. And the
mhm.
fees is three times now. So not only do you have to mint a Gen 2 by burning two Gen 1s, which are already half an ETH each. Like two gens is one ETH,
Wow.
right? That's like $4,500 plus minting
Uh,
fees on top for three smart contracts. It's going to be so expensive that if they turn out nice, they will be one of the hottest, most expensive projects in the market.
what's the project called again?
Eponym. Let me see if
Eponym.
I'm telling you right. Let me,
Eponym.
yeah, Eponym. EPONYM. Hey, I just have a few of them. I bought them very expensive off the market. I don't know those guys. Like, I'm not marketing them or whatever, but I'm just fascinated by it.
That is fascinating. That is crazy. I need to check that out. Where do you see the whole NFT space going? Um, and also
Uh,
and also the metaverse.
yeah,
Are you
regarding
bullish
the
on the
metaverse,
metaverse?
I think the NFT side right now there is a bit of a bear market with the PFP sort of NFTs, which is profile picture NFTs in a way,
Oh, okay.
right?
Right,
So
okay.
how you find out that there is a bear market, like not really a bear market, there's a the floor prices have gone down a bit
I understand,
because
yeah.
I think ETH is going up. So the prices of, because people are like, wow, man, ETH is gonna go nuts. So people have started taking profits a bit of their NFTs. So the NFT market, the profile picture one's gone down a bit. But there are three types of basic NFT markets of the ones that I have analyzed. One is these profile picture NFTs, stuff like Kongs, Punks, etc. And then you have these art NFTs, which I find super fascinating. There are so many collections that are worth spending some time checking out on. And then you can also create fabulous things like there is this tool in which you can design your own gallery, and it's a full, like an individual metaverse sort of a gallery. That means
Yeah.
it's a 3D space where all your friends can check out your artwork and stuff that you own. It's called
It sounds like Terra, not Terra. Sounds like
Terra
Terra
Virtua.
Virtua. Yeah,
Yeah,
Terra
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Virtua. Yeah, yeah.
So it's called on cyber. So Terra Virtua is building its own sort of a collector's den, right? In which
Yes.
you can have it in a hangar, like in a airline hangar. You can keep your artwork and your, their collectibles and all the IPs that they have. Uh, Terra Virtua is fascinating, but stuff like that is available on the ETH side. I did not know, so I'm pretty fascinated by it. But yeah, the NFT and the third type of NFTs is gaming,
I
blockchain
was about to
gaming
ask you
NFTs.
about that. Yeah.
So gaming NFTs are super cool because it's like an NFT with a design, but with a use case. So there is
Okay.
rarity in it, but there is use case in it as well. And the future of these NFTs is that they're going to get more and more dynamic in nature. That
So wait,
means
I just want to jump in. So when people talk about gaming NFTs, are you literally talking about like swords, guns, or okay, and are you also talking about like maybe characters, or is it more just like weapons and things like that?
no, it could be a blueprint of a level. You can actually
Oh, no
build that. It can
way.
be anything, and the beauty of it is that it's dynamic. The future NFTs will
Fascinating.
be very dynamic. That means, Leia, if you played a game and you had a sword in it,
Yes.
there is a chance that your sword could have dynamic character to it. That means it starts deteriorating every time you play with it. So the color of it will change and it will become old as well. And it's an NFT at the same time. That means the rarity of it, the online, the blockchain nature remains the same, but the quality of it has increased, reduced, aged, etc., etc. So a lot of these fascinating dynamic things are being put into NFTs. But here's the thing: on ETH, every time you add a dynamic element and you want to save it on the blockchain, there is a fees element to it. And that's why stuff like Efinity becomes extremely bullish, is because they're building the entire thing. And in fact, they're working closely with Dr. Gavin Wood himself, the founder of Polkadot, to build the standardization of the NFT on Polkadot. And it's going to be really one of the coolest things which is going
What
to
does that
come out
mean
in.
though? The standardization of NFTs. What does that mean?
So what we have in terms of standardizations on Ethereum is two basic standards which are most popular in NFTs. One is called ERC 720,
Oh,
and
right.
the
Okay.
other one
Yeah.
is called ERC 1155. And there is like a bit of coding difference between the two. Like you have ERC 20 for fungible tokens, right? Basically things with you know
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
limited supply, which is one equal to one. But for NFTs, these two are very popular standards. But because on parity, things can be much more complicatedly programmed, it's going to be far more dynamic. And the kind of things you can build with NFTs on the Polkadot chain will be extremely, extremely dynamic, and very, very cool stuff's going to happen for the gaming side specifically. So, what was your question again? But yeah, anyway, so I'm pretty
Gaming.
excited about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just for those who are tuning in, at the beginning of the show, we were talking about how Shash gave me all these different tips for tokens and coins to buy over a year ago. They've now gone to astronomical prices, and obviously I didn't buy them. But I have bought EFI because Shash told me to, and I put quite a bit of money into it. So I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Either I win or I lose, but I should do it. So I've done it. So I am now inherently bullish on NFT gaming stuff. So I'm excited for that. Let's talk about memes. Are you in any meme coins? Did you get the bottom of Sheeb or Doge?
The first rule of meme coin for anyone is do not talk about meme coins. Right? That's the first rule. And simply because it's pure gambling, right?
Yeah.
And we love to gamble. And by saying that it's pure gambling, it is pure gambling. So the point I'm trying to make here is that if you want to buy a meme coin, like especially when it comes to like even on my AltcoinBuzz chat on Telegram, right? I'm pretty active there. We're talking to the community on a daily basis a lot, right? The only time I get a little irked is when people are talking about these random meme coins. And the reason is it's fine. You can buy them, you can make money off them. If you're smart, you should be doing that. The only thing is don't get your followers and people to buy them or get into them because they will definitely go to zero very, very fast. Like it's not zero, maybe they will
They'll
lose.
crash. They'll crash.
Yeah. So the point is that do you want to buy a meme coin is going to a casino and putting, all your money on black or white, whatever, right? Like it's just going and saying, here is my money. You might win. See, here's the thing. There are a lot of ways to win. But it's just so much like gambling that at least I have not been able to break it down into science. And if I can't at least feel like I'm doing something intelligent, I cannot get myself to sort of, feel proud about it, even if it makes
Yeah.
the money. So
Yeah.
that's my answer to that.
No, I think it's great. So we've got a lot of people tuning in right now. Everybody is really enjoying your knowledge. They're finding it really valuable. So I figured that it might be nice just to give us maybe the top, I don't know, 5 coins, obviously altcoins that you're bullish on right now. Sorry to put you on the spot, but everybody's really enjoying listening to you and hearing what you have to say, Shash. So yeah, what are like the top 5 projects that you're bullish on? Obviously, you can repeat the ones that you've mentioned.
Yeah, of course. Like everything I'm gonna say, I will hold, and I will have like a bag of it for sure. I was extremely bullish on, I mean, still am on CRO when they announced their mainnet coming, and I've always been bullish on it. So that's one of the coins I really really like. I've always been a fan of Efinity and Engine since 2018. In fact, I've been in crypto.com, which was called Monaco, since
Yeah.
2017. I've been in Binance since 2017. I've been in Engine since 2018. So these are some of those projects that I've always been in, and I've been, in fact, even buying more and stuff. And like it's been a good journey holding on to them. Um, what else am I bullish on? So many. There are so many amazing projects that are happening. I'm a huge fan of Uniswap. Engine just launched their launchpad called Engine Starter, which is run by a team. I work very closely with them as well. There are tons of games that are launching on Engine Starter, so that's a project that I'm super excited about. And then that said, right, like the point is find projects that people intend to use. If you use launchpads, buy launchpad tokens. And if your launchpad has problems, if it cannot be fixed, right, I'd say the same thing again. If these problems cannot be fixed, get out. Like sell it and get out. Like it takes nothing to sell a token and getting out of it. The problem is the investors spend so much time holding coins with projects that they have stopped believing in. But it takes a minute or maybe half a day to sell whatever you stop believing in and go to something that you do believe in. I'm a big fan of Polkadot, so I think that's super cool. I love Ethereum for sure. I love many of the projects that are building on Solana. That's a cool ecosystem. Zilliqa is doing some fabulous stuff. I'm a
Oh,
big fan
okay.
of Chili's. Like my portfolio might have over 200 projects, so I can name them all, and I love them all like my kid. The day they
What about
perform better,
Avalanche? What about Avalanche? People are like shouting about Avalanche right now.
I have yet to test too many things on it. It's
Okay.
really cool, but there's only so much I have in terms of capacity to test. But we put out, like, in terms of content that we put out on Altcoin Buzz, there's a huge research team. It's not just me or my ideas or my bags that matter. It's not the case. We cover a variety of things, and Avalanche is one of those projects. Harmony is another project we cover very, very often, very regularly. And if people are using, so here's the thing, right? If people are using it and the number of users is going up, then it's already looking like a good investment, because user base is equal to speculation base, right? Where are you seeing these comments though? Like, I have nothing
Oh,
on
you're
the
not seeing
screen.
the comments?
Where?
They're loving it. Everyone is loving it. I'm reading everything as you're speaking.
Oh,
I'll put some of them up on screen. Um, PN says, "What about Matic?" Um, Doug Phantom, Andrew Jones, Avex is fast and cheap AF. Jamie says he's
yeah,
bullish on my channel, which is great. Everyone loves
yeah,
you. That's nice. Look, Harry Miller really enjoys your insight. Great interview.
yeah. I saw the comments. I was like
Okay.
sitting on this private chat thing which was totally empty, and I was like, where are you seeing these comments? I see them now. That's cool.
Here, look, Russell. He is smart. Shash is smart.
Yeah, thank God. Somebody saw through it.
No, you are. I
Because
want to just
people
like
think that, yeah,
no. Go on. What were
sorry.
you gonna say? No, go on. What were you gonna say?
No, people just think that I'm good looking and I'm not smart. So I don't want them to get the wrong impression.
It's both. It's both, Shash. Come on. So let's swerve a little bit, because one thing as well, which you taught me in this space, was to have a macro perspective, not just necessarily about investing, but in terms of business and how to deal with people, and how to kind of just like manage yourself and your brand. And you always, I can't remember what you said to me. You said something like, what did you say? Like dogs bark, but you said something to me and I can't remember. And just like not rising to rubbish online and just,
Yeah.
building good relationships. So altcoin buzz, I know that you right now you don't take sponsorships or things like that. You only talk about coins which you're actually invested in. And you're
Or
all
we like.
about you like, right? So but you're all about like the ethics of things. So talk to me about the importance of ethics and therefore slowly building and having longevity in the space.
So here's the thing, right? Like, the true power in crypto really is in the community. The projects that realize that, wow, I'm getting good comments. That's amazing. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm kind of blushing now. It's
Sorry to
crazy.
distract you, I'm just putting them up. Shash is
Yeah.
a wise man. Yeah, sorry, go on. So let's talk about longevity and ethics.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, really, like, every time I feel like I am getting bogged down by a short term mindset and I'm getting scared, and you will have those moments where you're feeling like everything's going to go bad, things are looking problematic, there seems like trouble. Really looking into from a long term perspective, listen to some of Andreas Antonopoulos's videos. Really, like, it becomes extremely easy to kind of calm down, go into a bit of a zen mode, and then look at it from a long term perspective. I have really struggled through the crypto space over the last 4 years so many times, but every time I've only come back stronger. That means that there is a cost of education that you have to pay to survive in this space. The market is extremely bullish right now. It is going to have a correction, right? Weak hands will get out. People will feel like, oh my God, like I was so excited then. And then eventually they will feel like, oh, what did I do? This means makes no sense. And all that FOMO that they have will instantly be created into FUD. The way to not create your FOMO into FUD is only one way: to have knowledge, to understand what you're buying, to understand why you're buying it. If you intend to buy BNB and you intend to use it and the price goes down, you can still be fine because you still intend to use Binance Exchange, right? But if you buy a meme coin that you bought because 20 YouTubers were talking about it and people were, kind of shouting about these meme coins, and then suddenly they go down. I have seen so many companies, people, influencers leave the space so many times, right? That the best way to have a business is think about how you build a community, no matter how hard the things is. It's very hard for us And I've realized this, it's not actually hard, but it becomes hard after a while when you've suffered so much by putting out. We started with very random content, right? Like in 2017 when we started the channel, we didn't expect to grow it that big. The goal was just to have some fun, right? Like if you're bullish on something, as you learned, you talk about it. And
Yeah.
eventually we sort of matured, we got better analysts, we got rid of like people who would just make random content, but actual people who would analyze stuff. We would get into the depths of things. We will look into some really smart ways as to where the trends are headed. And now everything that we're doing is very well thought out and calculated. In fact, our videos have finally started performing much better, is because people are able to see that, some of the information which is out there, they say ABC is also good and ABC is also bad, right? Like they say it in both ways and then amplify whichever ways it goes. So we try to just focus on stuff that we're buying and we're finding exciting. For example, we started an NFT segment on the website. I'm not invested in any NFT per se except eponym, the one I just spoke to you about, right? And that also I started buying after 2 months of research. The thing is that I buy things after months of research, right? People buy after 2 hours or 2 minutes of watching a YouTube video. There is a bit of a difference right there, right? And if you're going to buy something in 2 minutes, you will have fear of it in 2 minutes also. So when
Mm.
I and that's why Bitcoin holders are far better at holding Bitcoin than altcoin guys. And that's why Bitcoin has more stability than altcoins for a few reasons. One, Bitcoin has more regulation. Altcoins have less regulation, right? Uh, Bitcoin has far more distributed as a system. Altcoins are not that distributed right now, and nor are they that decentralized. So there are these basic differences between Bitcoin and altcoin, but all altcoin takes inspiration from Bitcoin itself. If you look at vanity that pumps altcoins, and by vanity I mean stuff like, what pumps an altcoin? Staking. We are getting staking. We're burning tokens. We are launching liquidity mining. We are launching this. We're doing a partnership with some random project. All these things lead to a pump, right? It all takes inspirations from Bitcoin's event like halving, right? Event like halving is like once in a 4 years it takes place, which makes Bitcoin extremely bullish. And that event is what gives inspiration to altcoins to start doing stuff as well. I've completely gone off course to whatever question you were asking me,
No, it's
unfortunately.
fine. No, it's fine. I think it was great. You went into altcoins and what pumps altcoins. I think that's great. I actually started asking you just about like ethics and longevity and staying honest to your audience and only taking on, only sort of working with projects where you actually see value. But I feel like we covered it. You're writing a book. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, I'm working on
I
one.
said it. All right, let's hear it. So Shash is writing a book. Can you tell us about it?
So I'm trying to figure out more from an economics perspective of how altcoins work, and trying to talk more about the altcoin perspective, how you can invest in them, how to look at it from a short-term, long-term perspective, how to even see it from. So here's the thing, right? We're all futurists. How to become a futurist is what I think everybody should be wanting to do, right? You put this stuff, right, it blushes me and then I can't think anymore. Like nobody gives me compliments like this, man. Guys, this is
Shash
amazing.
is
This is
pure gold. We need
That's
more of his wise
amazing.
words.
Yeah. I don't
Sorry,
put
keep
this stuff
going.
there. I read this stuff and my brain stops working because it's too much compliment. I just thought
Sorry.
I was all about good looks, but nobody cared about my brains. And I come to your chat and now it seems like I have brains as well. So amazing.
Sorry. So go on, we're all futurists. Tell us about your book.
Yeah, so I've been writing it for a while now, and I want to kind of like just put out my thoughts and make it easy for people to sort of have a long-term understanding of the space. One of the biggest problems in this space is that every every group of people, they try to make it very, they try to build sometimes animosity amongst each other, but there is no animosity, right? Like people who own Bitcoin can own Ethereum, can own everything. So there is no like, oh, Zilliqa is better than Elrond, or like Quant Network is better than Ripple, and this and that. There is no Ripple versus Bitcoin. In fact, each coin sort of complements the rest. So in my book, I'm trying to kind of talk about how you can cut through that bullshit and focus on how you should be looking at the space, grow yourself as an individual, and grow your portfolio smartly.
I'm still here. My camera just switches off after 30 minutes. Hang on. There we go. I'm here.
Wow.
Yeah, it's annoying. So how you can grow your portfolio, how you can navigate the space, what else can we expect?
That's it. The rest you'll have to read the book, right? Like I'm not.
When's it? So
But,
what's the name of the book and when's it coming out?
I'm not telling you anything right now. That's everything is gonna come out in due time.
Okay, I'm
It's
really
not a big deal.
excited.
Like it's not that exciting. My book
It
is not
is.
gonna do anywhere close to most of the books in crypto. It's just something I'm doing because it's a bucket list thing for me. It won't be that exciting. Trust
No,
me.
it'll be great. No, it'll be great. I'm going to get it. I'm excited. So where can people follow you? Everybody's been asking for your Twitter. How can people follow you and how can they follow AltcoinBuzz?
It's nothing to do with porn, but my Twitter is called Shash Triple X, right?
Yeah,
Like
why?
I have no idea. I thought like Shash wasn't available. Then Shash X wasn't available. I didn't want a number on it. I didn't want to write like ETH Shash or Crypto Shash. I find that a little weird. So I just wrote like XXX, like just like that. And yeah, I didn't know I will have a following personally as well. So yeah, I didn't bother so much. It's nothing to do with porn, frankly.
So guys, go follow Shash on Twitter, follow AltcoinBuzz and check out their YouTube channel. They cover all really, really exciting projects that I should have gotten into, but I didn't because I'm silly. But now I'm getting into them. So I'm just basically listening to what Shash says and then doing my own research because one should always do that. And then and then investing basically. So Shash, it's so good to have you on. Do you have any final words? Do you have any last? I know you've been speaking for nearly an hour, but go on. Any last words you'd like to say?
Yeah, I think the one thing I would like to say is not like the most fun thing that needs to be said is that one thing is for sure is that bear market is for buying and bull
Yeah.
market is for selling, right? So if you've taken profits, you're making money, start taking out your profits. If you've done 2x, 3x, 5x, start taking your returns back. Now is not the time to invest more than you can afford to lose. That time was last year when everybody was crying. Now is
Yeah.
the time to really, really not go crazy. Things are extremely euphoric. Market has gone completely nuts right now. And I'm not a financial advisor, but as a friend, I can tell you guys that they look at it long term. There will be hundreds of opportunities that will come towards you. People will be cribbing about crypto and saying it's garbage in 2 years from now again. It's bound to happen. That's the opportunity for you to get in. So think long term. You buy too much now and then you lose money on it is like the last thing you really want to do. So be careful out there, have fun, learn as much as you can, and the stuff that you buy, even if they correct, keep on holding because that's how much you should believe in it. So that's like me trying to be wise there, just trying to be little mature, which isn't my style though.
No, I think it's great. You're right. People always forget, bear markets really are for buying. People always get afraid during crashes and things like that. But I, for one, am certainly going to go all in once the bear market is confirmed. That's the risk. That's the level of risk I'm willing and ready to take. I can't do it now because, like you said, it's too euphoric and everything's at the top. So I won't take that kind of risk. But Shash, I want to thank you so much. It's been so great to have you on. Your knowledge is just like invaluable, honestly.
No, it's
Is
pretty
that the word?
random stuff.
Invaluable? Maybe is
No,
that
it's
an, I
it's
don't know.
no,
It's in
it's valueless more than anything
valueless.
else. But no, valueless is like
It's
saying that it
bad.
has no value, like it's
I
zero,
know.
right?
Yeah,
That's
so invaluable is correct, right?
Yeah, but last thing also, I'd really like to tell this to everyone as well, which I always tell: find something to do in crypto. Really, this space is not going anywhere. This space is gonna go really, really high. There is so much to do, so much money to be made. Get busy, right? Layah started her channel. You guys should start, YouTube channels or start writing content. Start talking about what you like, getting your friends involved. Start working for an organization that you like. There is a need for thousands and thousands and
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of people in the crypto space. Literally, there are so many opportunities besides just investing. So get on, get busy, and have fun. Yeah.
There you go. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Shash, pleasure to have you. And we'll see you all again next week. Have a great weekend.
Thank you so much.